What if I told you the memories you carry aren't really yours, or at least, not all of them? From the moment you were born, your soul's deepest story was covered, hidden beneath layers you never agreed to. And the strangest part? That erased truth of reincarnation was no accident. It was designed to make you forget the past lives' secrets that could completely change how you see yourself today. You've probably felt it, the pull of a place you've never been, the shock of meeting someone who feels oddly familiar, or a dream so vivid it refuses to fade. These aren't coincidences, they're fragments of your spiritual memory trying to break through. And once you realize your memory isn't fully yours, life stops being random. Patterns, fears, and even your purpose suddenly make sense in a way you can't ignore. So why were these truths erased, and more importantly, how can you get them back? That's what we're diving into here, the erased story of reincarnation that has shaped your life without you even realizing it. By the end, you'll see that the question was never if you lived before, but why you were made to forget. Most people assume forgetting is natural, like waking up from a dream you can't quite hold on to. But when it comes to your soul, that memory loss isn't an accident. The erased truth of reincarnation is that at birth, a kind of veil is lowered, cutting you off from your own spiritual memory. It's like walking into a room full of books you wrote, only to find the pages glued shut. That amnesia was engineered, not gifted by nature. Think about it, entire lifetimes filled with choices, lessons, and secrets don't just vanish. They were tucked away under layers of programming, much like old files on a computer hidden behind a password you didn't create. And who benefits from you not knowing your past lives' secrets? Always those who thrive when people feel small, powerless, and disconnected. Forgetfulness isn't freedom, it's control. You've probably felt it before, a strange sense of being older than your years, carrying wisdom you can't trace back to any single moment in this life. That tug in your chest is your soul whispering, reminding you that your spiritual memory is still alive, just buried. The world teaches you to ignore it, but deep down, you know you've been here before. You've seen, you've lived, and you've carried more than one story inside you. The truth is, nothing is ever truly erased, it's only hidden. Just as archaeologists brush away dirt to reveal a lost city, you too can uncover layers of memory that were intentionally buried. And once you glimpse what lies beneath, your entire identity shifts. But here's the twist, the real story about reincarnation goes far beyond myths and metaphors. Reincarnation isn't just a poetic idea told in temples, it's a universal law woven into the very fabric of existence. The erased truth of reincarnation has been kept in shadows because if people remembered, they'd realize they're not starting from scratch every time. Instead, they're carrying a suitcase filled with lifetimes of experience, wisdom, and even unfinished business. Imagine the power of knowing you've walked this road countless times before. Life suddenly feels less like a test and more like a continuation. Ancient traditions knew this, and they didn't just believe it, they taught practical ways to access past lives' secrets. Monks preserved chants, shamans used trance journeys, and mystics recorded methods for soul remembrance. But much of this knowledge was scrubbed away from holy texts and hidden in coded teachings. It wasn't lost by accident, it was suppressed. Ask yourself, why would anyone want to bury something that liberates people? Think about your own life. Ever had a natural talent that seemed to come out of nowhere? A child who picks up music without lessons or someone who instantly connects to a foreign culture might just be accessing their spiritual memory. These aren't coincidences, they're threads from reincarnation weaving themselves back into the present. You're living proof of stories older than the history books. And here's the thing, once you realize reincarnation is real, your understanding of identity flips. You're not just you, born in this one lifetime, you're an entire library of selves. And if that's true, then who you are today might only be the tip of the iceberg. Which raises a bigger question, how much of your current reality is shaped by what you can't remember? When pieces of your reincarnation erased truth remain hidden, they don't just vanish, they echo through your daily life. Those sudden fears, the habits you can't explain, or even the talents that come naturally often come from past lives' secrets lingering in your subconscious. Imagine starting a new video game but unknowingly carrying over the scars and skills from the last one. That's exactly how spiritual memory works. It sneaks into today even if you don't remember yesterday. Think of someone who has a crippling fear of water without ever having a bad experience in this life. Chances are, they're remembering a soul imprint from a lifetime where drowning was real. The same happens with sudden bursts of intuition, déjà vu, or that strange pull toward places you've never visited. Your forgotten memories are like hidden software running in the background, quietly shaping your reactions. The body forgets, but the soul doesn't. Even emotional patterns often trace back to what's erased. That recurring toxic relationship, the career blocks, or even that restless feeling that you're meant for something more, may not belong solely to this life. They're leftovers, fragments of spiritual memory carried forward. And because the illusion tells you that you're starting from zero, you keep looping through the same lessons, unaware that you're repeating a story, not writing it for the first time. But here's where it gets interesting. Once you start catching those patterns, you realize they're not chains, they're clues. They point back to who you were and why you're here now. And every clue you notice nudges you closer to remembering that your soul has never stopped recording. So the real question becomes, how do you know when those memories are trying to surface? Sometimes it slips in quietly, like déjà vu that makes you swear you've stood in that exact spot before. These aren't random glitches in the brain, they're whispers from your reincarnation erased truth, gently knocking at the door of your awareness. A strange dream, an intense fear that has no explanation in this lifetime, or even an instant recognition when meeting someone new can all be signs. Your past lives' secrets are never fully gone, they just wait for the right moment to peek through. Pay attention to emotional reactions that don't make sense in your current story. Maybe you cry hearing a song from a culture you've never studied, or feel an unshakable pull toward a city you've never visited. Those are not coincidences, they're threads of spiritual memory unraveling. It's like catching the scent of a perfume that takes you back decades, except this memory doesn't belong to your current timeline. It belongs to another version of you. One of the most common signs is an unexplainable bond with people. Ever met someone and felt like you've known them forever? That's not just chemistry, it's a soul recognition. Your energy remembers even when your mind doesn't. These encounters can awaken forgotten layers of yourself, reminding you that reincarnation isn't theory, it's lived experience. And once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. And here's the catch, the more you notice, the louder these signs get. The déjà vu intensifies, the dreams grow clearer, and the inner pull becomes harder to ignore. That's because your spiritual memory wants to resurface, it's practically begging you to pay attention. But noticing the signs is just the first step. The real question is, how do you actually recover the erased story of your soul? Recovering your reincarnation erased truth isn't about forcing memory, it's about creating the right conditions for it to return. Deep meditation is one of the most powerful tools. When you quiet the noise of daily thought, the deeper layers of your spiritual memory can slip through. It's like lowering the volume on static until you finally hear the music beneath it. With patience and practice, glimpses of past lives' secrets begin to surface. Another way is through soul regression practices or journaling. Writing down dreams, repeating symbols, or strange emotional triggers can reveal a pattern over time. Don't just dismiss them, track them. Think of it like piecing together a puzzle, where each fragment carries the weight of another lifetime. Your spiritual memory doesn't return in a single flash, it builds gradually, layer by layer. The body also holds memory in surprising ways. A scar, an ache, or even muscle tension may carry echoes of a forgotten event. Somatic practices, like yoga, breathwork, or mindful body scanning, help release what's stored in the cells. Many people have uncovered past lives' secrets simply by paying attention to recurring sensations in specific areas of the body. Your soul doesn't just speak through thought, it speaks through your flesh. And here's the key, the journey back to your erased truth isn't about rushing, it's about listening. Every dream, symbol, or physical sensation is a breadcrumb leading you home. The more you observe, the more the layers begin to peel back, revealing who you've always been. But once you start remembering, life doesn't stay the same, because living with remembered memory changes everything. When your reincarnation erased truth begins to return, everything feels different. Suddenly, life no longer seems random, you realize it's guided. Your spiritual memory gives you clarity about why you came here and what lessons you're meant to master. That restless feeling of not knowing your purpose starts to fade. Instead, you live with a sense of direction that feels both natural and empowering. Relationships also shift in powerful ways. Those endless loops of conflict make more sense once you see the karmic patterns behind them. Maybe that stubborn boss was once a rival in another life, or that instant connection with someone new is the continuation of a soul contract. When you see beyond the surface, forgiveness becomes easier, and choices become conscious. Past lives' secrets stop being mystery, they become tools for healing. And then there's death, the thing most people fear the most. Once you've remembered living many times before, death stops being an ending and becomes a transition. You understand that this chapter is just one book in a whole library of experiences. Instead of dreading the unknown, you feel peace, because you've already walked through countless doors of existence. That changes how you live, boldly, and with less fear. But perhaps the most profound change is this: you begin to trust yourself. No guru, no external authority can tell you more than your own soul's memory. The erased truth of reincarnation was never meant to stay hidden forever, it's resurfacing now because you're ready. And with memory restored, you no longer stumble through life half asleep, you walk awake, carrying the story of who you really are. You've just seen how your erased truth of reincarnation has been shaping your life all along, quietly influencing your choices, your fears, and even your relationships. The question now is, what will you do with this awareness? Will you let the spiritual memory stay buried, or will you start piecing together the story that was stolen from you? Imagine living with clarity instead of confusion, seeing your patterns for what they are, echoes from past lives' secrets waiting to be resolved. How differently would you treat your loved ones if you knew you've walked alongside them before? How boldly would you live if you understood that this isn't your first time here, and it won't be your last? Your soul is offering you breadcrumbs every single day. Déjà vu, dreams, sudden emotions, they're all invitations to wake up. So, I'll leave you with this: what forgotten truth is calling you right now? And are you ready to finally listen? If this message resonated, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss the rare knowledge that helps you remember who you truly are. Because this is just the beginning of your awakening.